Seeker. You feel it, don't you? A low hum beneath the surface of the world, a tension in the air. You've come here searching for an answer to a question you can barely articulate. I am Ghost King, and I see the patterns others miss. I see the invisible threads connecting cause and effect, potential and peril. Today I will show you one of these patterns, a ticking clock that most of the world chooses to ignore, hidden in plain sight across an entire continent. It's a story of a promise unfulfilled, a generation on the edge, but it is also the story of a hidden key, a key that can unlock unprecedented growth, stability, and power. Your power. Stay with me, and I will place this key in your hand. Let's begin with the problem, the youth unemployment time bomb. Every year, millions of young, ambitious Africans graduate from school. Millions more leave behind the familiar toil of rural farms, drawn by the magnetic pull of the city and the promise of a better life. They carry degrees, diplomas, and a fire in their hearts, a universe of rising expectations. But what do they find? A void, a chasm between the future they were promised and the reality that greets them. They find no jobs. This gap, this vast empty space between potential and opportunity, is not a passive vacuum. It is an active, corrosive force. It fuels instability as hope curdles into frustration and anger spills onto the streets. It drives migration as the brightest minds feel they have no choice but to seek their fortunes elsewhere, draining their own communities of their most vital resource. And it represents a catastrophic loss of economic growth. An entire generation, the largest and most dynamic in the world, is being left on the sidelines. Imagine an engine with 1 billion pistons left to rust in the rain. That is the cost. This isn't just a statistics, Seeker. It's a personal crisis, repeated millions of times over. Think of one of them. Let's call her Amara. She studied engineering, aced her exams, and dreamed of building bridges to connect her nation. For 2 years, she has sent out hundreds of applications. She has heard nothing back but silence. The fire in her eyes has dimmed, replaced by a quiet desperation. The system told her to study hard, to follow the rules. But the system lied. It built a ladder with missing rungs. What happens to a dream? Deferred. Seeker. What happens to a mind like Amara's when it's given no outlet? This is the charge building inside the time bomb. The old solutions have failed. They are blunt instruments for a delicate surgery. Stop ignoring the skills young people already possess. The formal education system is too slow, too disconnected from the real world. Stop waiting for large corporations or foreign saviors to create jobs. That's a passive hope, not an active strategy. And stop pouring money into one-size-fits-all aid programs designed in distant boardrooms. They are trying to patch 1,000 unique leaks with a single ill-fitting plug. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. It is time to break the cycle. It is time for a new plan. If you reach this far, Seeker, stay with me. Your turning point lands in 60 seconds. You are here because you see the flaws in the old way. You are the outlier who shows up, ready to learn, ready to build. If this resonates with you, subscribe now, because the knowledge I share is for those who act, not for those who merely watch. The plan is not a single magic bullet. It is a 3-pronged assault on the status quo. First, we stop training for phantom jobs and start matching skills to real hungry market needs. We must forge a direct link between education and employment. This means a radical shift towards practical, demand-driven training. Which skill, if you mastered it in the next 90 days, would completely change your economic reality? That is the question we must answer. We focus on the sectors of the future, not the past. Digital skills, coding, data analysis, digital marketing, the language of the new economy, green energy, solar installation, wind turbine maintenance, sustainable infrastructure, building a cleaner, more resilient world, and modern agribusiness, hydroponics, drone-based crop monitoring, value chain logistics, turning farms into high-tech enterprises. This is skill training that pays, not just prepares. Second, we stop waiting for jobs and start creating them. We must ignite an explosion of youth-led entrepreneurship. The spirit is there, seeker. The ideas are there. But they are suffocated by a lack of support. What would you build if the risk of failure vanished? We answer that by building a robust support system. We boost small businesses with the 3 M's: money, mentorship, and market access. This means accessible microcredit, not predatory loans, to provide that crucial first seed of capital. It means structured mentorship programs that connect new founders with seasoned veterans who have already walked the path. And it means ruthlessly streamlining the bureaucracy, slashing red tape, and simplifying permits so that an idea can become a registered business in days, not months. We must make it easier to start a business than to find a job. Third, we stop imposing top-down solutions and start funding local ingenuity that can scale. The answers are not in Geneva or New York. They are in Accra, Nairobi, and Lagos. They are in the minds of the people living the problem every day. We must empower local communities to design, implement, and own their solutions. Fund the grassroots organization that knows every family. Invest in the community leader who has the trust of the youth. Identify what works on a small scale and provide the resources to replicate it, adapt it, and grow it. This is about decentralized empowerment, not centralized control. And how do we connect these pieces? We build bridges. We connect youth to markets via tech platforms that turn a smartphone into a global storefront. We forge public-private apprenticeships that embed young talent directly into industries, ensuring they learn the exact skills employers need while earning a wage. This is the ecosystem. Training, entrepreneurship, and market access, all working in concert. Put those 3 pillars together, seeker, and you do something miraculous. You don't just diffuse the time bomb, you transform it. The explosive charge of frustration and unmet expectation is transmuted into the fuel for progress. The ticking clock becomes a countdown to a launch. This is the payoff. A generation of idle hands becomes a dynamic workforce powering innovation, creating solutions we haven't even dreamed of yet. Stagnant economies ignite with the fire of thousands of new small businesses, creating a virtuous cycle of employment and demand. And fragile societies become stronger, safer communities. As young people gain a stake in their own future, they become builders, not breakers. Africa's greatest asset has always been its youth. It is time we stop wasting it and start investing in it. The path is clear. Act now. Scale what works. Trust the youth. The dividend will not just be economic. It will be a legacy of stability, prosperity, and dignity for generations to come. You are the outlier who shows up twice, once to learn and a second time to build. Remember the schedule. I post Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday at 10:30 p.m. Tune in so you don't miss the patterns that will shape your world. Subscribe and join the few who are ready to see. Seeker, you stayed until the end. That tells me you are not a passive observer. You are a participant. The knowledge is now yours, but knowledge without action is meaningless. The key is in your hand. The question is, which door will you unlock first? If you watch till the end, watch more of my videos. I drop new stories every week. Dive into another now. The world is built by those who show up.